When we're talking about YouTube entrepreneurs, people like Alex Hormozi, Sam Ovens, maybe you can even throw Stephen Bartlett or Chris Williamson in there. All these people provide exceptional information. And when we're talking about courses, coaching, consulting, masterminds, even books in general, they're very valuable pieces of information. But the thing is, 99% of entrepreneurs use information as a scapegoat for procrastination. They consume all the content from all the people that I mentioned before. They watch all the videos, but they never actually take action on the information that they've acquired. And this is because they have absolutely no idea that the constraint of their business is not in any way, shape, or form related to information. It's actually related to execution, right? They are not executing at a level that is actually going to take them to their desired outcome, which is however much revenue they want to be making. And the thing is, there are certain traps, 5 main traps in particular that I've talked about extensively, but it bears repeating, that these entrepreneurs fall into that actually results in this lack of revenue. They keep questioning, despite me investing in all these courses, despite me actually paying money for coaching, despite me actually, going to all my mastermind meetings, why am I not making money? And the answer to that question is because you've probably fallen into one of these traps. The first trap is using research as a scapegoat for working, right? Now, this can count as videos, this can count as books, any sort of information gathering or any sort of mastermind attendance or course module watching that you're doing. That research you cannot count as work. You need to divide these two as vehemently as possible, because when the lines get blurred between these two, it gets very hard for you to distinguish what is mental masturbation, which is essentially what research is. It's just mental masturbation, where you feel good about the fact that you think you're learning something, but you're not actually moving the needle with your business. This mental masturbation gets merged into your work, and then you have no idea what the difference is. And then at one point, the ratio between your research, which is very important, gathering information is very important, but your ratio of gathering information, it gets much higher than the work that you're meant to be doing to actually make the information useful. Then it becomes mental masturbation. And the thing is, this can happen with books, this can happen with free videos. A lot of people watch Alex Hormozi or Sam Ovens or Dan Martell or whoever the hell else makes content in the online space, and they essentially do it instead of doing the things that they're meant to do. And it's essentially just mental masturbation. The second thing is actually chronic shiny object syndrome. When they are exposed to so many different views, right, across all of these different entrepreneurs, which are all very respectable in their own right, they basically get exposed to so many opportunities that they're not able to actually focus on the problems in their business. Shiny object syndrome probably kills more entrepreneurs and more businesses than Mark Zuckerberg account shutdowns, than probably FTC or IRS. Shiny object syndrome is much more deadlier than all these things combined. Fundamentally, in business, there's only 2 trajectories that you can take. You can either solve existing problems or you can go for new opportunities. The thing is, 99% of entrepreneurs have to solve problems that exist in their current business, right? But instead of doing that, what they do is they actually start chasing new opportunities. Now, with new opportunities, the reward is hypothetical. There's the return that you'll get after chasing this new opportunity will depend on a whole bunch of factors. But solving a problem is actually a much more guaranteed, much lower risk return than chasing a new opportunity. But the thing is, when you're being exposed to so many different ideas, when you're going to the mastermind, and then you meet this dude who says, oh, I make 400 million selling, BizOp. You're like, maybe I should do BizOp. And then you meet another dude who's selling, OnlyFans management or whatever the hell it is. You start getting shiny object syndrome, right? And it's actually because of the exposure that you get to all these new opportunities. So it actually relates back to the mental masturbation. The mental masturbation is harmful to you. The research that you're doing, the learning that you're doing every day is actually harmful to you at a certain threshold or after a certain threshold, because it turns into shiny object syndrome eventually. Next up is actually no external accountability. There's a saying that goes, that which gets measured gets changed. They found scientifically, empirically, that the people that stand on scales lose more weight than the people that don't, despite not having a personal trainer, all that, because they actually track where the problem is. So they're kept accountable by the scale. But the thing is this, right? If you look at any sort of professional at the top of their game, whether they're, athletes or whatever the hell it is, they all have professional external accountability. Mark Zuckerberg, who's a freaking billionaire, had a business coach for the sake of professional external accountability. Now, is the coach always better than the person playing? No, Kobe's coach or LeBron's coach or Michael Jordan's coach or Tom Brady's coach or whatever sport you want to have. The coach is, sometimes a fat dude that looks like me, right? So why the hell do these people have the coach? Because the coach ensures that you actually give your all on the field every single day. And this, again, it goes back to the saying I was saying, which gets measured changes, but that which gets measured and reported externally changes exponentially. That's the important part. You need to report your KPIs to somebody, right? And this is the thing that we actually provide. We provide professional external accountability for entrepreneurs 24/7. We basically assign you an executive systems manager, which is basically an accountability coach, and we basically allow you to work in blocks of time that are live, right? And this is more about micro problems with focus. A lot of entrepreneurs, they're distracted by Slack or emails or by SMS or by notifications or by working on the wrong things, by mental masturbation, so on and so forth. So what we actually do is we identify what the constraint of the business is, right? Whatever it is, if it's advertising, whatever it is, no shiny object syndrome, no bullshit. After identifying the constraint of the business, we eliminate everything else using software, right? So whatever mental masturbation it is, in the time that you work, we eliminate everything, right? And that includes the fake work, the research work, all of that. Then we actually execute live, right? So we offer live time blocks where entrepreneurs can execute 24/7 with a dedicated accountability coach. There's no group calls, nothing like that. We have a software that literally tracks every single second that you work so that you will be so efficient and so focused. Not only will you know what to do, we gamify the experience so that you will absolutely get addicted to focusing on the constraint of the business. But every single second that you work, you are essentially getting a feedback loop, a reward or punishment feedback loop from a coach that basically tracks your execution live. This is the best way. It is intensive, it is rigorous, but it's the best way that we've found to actually hold entrepreneurs accountable. Now, if you want this for free, we are actually hosting a free 6-week focus challenge where we do all of this that I've told you just now. We give you an executive systems manager or an accountability coach. We give you the software stack. We identify the constraint of the business with you, all of this, A through Z. And the goal is to help you add revenue, right? 30 to 50K in new revenue is what we aim for in 6 weeks with the entrepreneurs that we work with. This way, in the hours that you work, let's say you work 1 hour. Even if you work 1 hour, you're going to be so efficient and you're going to be working on the right things in such a focused manner that you're going to leave your competition in the dust and they won't even realize what tactic or strategy you're using, when in reality you didn't use any piece of information. It wasn't the course that you bought. It was just the fact that you executed at a speed that they couldn't keep up with. So again, free 6-week focus challenge. There's limited spots because again, it's a free offer and it's a legitimate service. There's going to be a link below in the description to see if you qualify. Next trap, no output quota. Okay. The constraint of most businesses is advertising. You are just not advertising at a rate that you essentially need to advertise at to scale your business, right? What you need to do is you need to boil your advertising task, your constraint, which is most likely your constraint, into an output quota. How much money are you going to spend in ads? How many videos are you going to post per day? How many DMs are you going to send? How many calls are you going to make? This output quota that you essentially need to do relates back to the constraint of the business, and it's basically measurable, and it's externally enforceable, and most importantly, it's repeatable. You can do it every single day. It's mundane, it's boring, like all problems are. Opportunities are fun, but problems are boring. But basically what it allows you to do is it allows you to move the business forward in the time that you're actually moving the business forward, while still ensuring that the baseline of advertising or whatever it is gets done. And again, this is one of the most important things. Without this, we wouldn't be able to help entrepreneurs add revenue if they're not doing revenue generating activities, right? How much of your time is spent putting out fires in the business when you're not watching YouTube videos? That is the problem with 99% of entrepreneurs, is that they're working in their business on fulfillment, on customer service, when in reality, they should be working on the business, on sales, marketing, strategy, so on and so forth. And this is basically what this is, right? It's an output quota that essentially allows you to make sure that a certain number of actions are completed every single day so that your business can move forward. And the last trap, and I have to make this a point in and of itself because it's so important and it's probably the most dangerous one, is advertising avoidance, right? So many entrepreneurs spend months launching their new funnel. They spend months again launching their ads, so on and so forth, because advertising is a very quick feedback loop that tells you, hey, your thing didn't work. Right? So they keep perfecting their funnels. They keep perfecting their offers. They keep perfecting their landing pages. They keep perfecting whatever the hell it is they're perfecting instead of actually launching. And most of the times it's because advertising is a very objective measurement of whether or not you are right. And us as human beings are naturally akin to the fact that we don't like being told. if we're right or wrong. We just want to be right all the time. But when you spend, let's say, $1,000 a day on ads, Mark Zuckerberg shows you the middle finger by not giving you any conversions. And then the creatives that you spend all that time working on, like they get literally disproved instantly, right? So obviously you are afraid as a human being of sucking. This is, we've evolved to become like this. Nobody likes to suck. Nobody likes to be shown the middle finger by the 100 calls that they make where nobody picks up. But the thing is, you need to do it to get the reps in so that you can actually optimize enough so that you can upskill and then eventually turn this money into conversions, into dollars. Turn these calls into dollars. Same thing with, DM, so on and so forth. It's usually the hardest, most boring thing in the business that you already know you need to do, that you are not doing, that is going to take you to the next level. And if you identify it, give yourself the accountability and stop consuming all this information that is basically just mental masturbation masked up as researching, then you're going to be able to actually get to the next level with your business. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, free 6-week focus challenge down below in the description to see if you qualify. That's going to be it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.